It sits in a glass case in Paris, barely larger than your palm. The pages yellowed, the corners curled like burnt leaves. A humble spiral notebook, recovered from Stalag 1A, a German prisoner of war camp in 1940. On the inside cover, in quick, nervous strokes, 3 words appear again and again. Être, responsabilité. Being, choice, responsibility. The handwriting belongs to a lanky French corporal named Jean-Paul Sartre, who killed time and boredom by sketching philosophy under armed guard. At first glance, the relic looks fragile, almost timid. Yet every line within those pages will soon ignite a revolution in thought, a blaze that still singes our sense of self today. Picture the scene. The bitter winter of 1940, snow drifting against barbed wire, boots crunching on frozen earth. Captives shuffle in gray coats, stripped of weapons, stripped of schedules, seemingly stripped of every freedom that once defined them. And here, in this wasteland of no, Sartre begins to argue that freedom is precisely what no power on earth can confiscate. Because it is not handed to us by governments, armies, or even fate. It erupts from within, an unquenchable spark that forces each of us to choose, moment by moment, who we will be. To his fellow prisoners, the idea sounds absurd. Free, in here, they scoff, tightening belts that have grown too large for their starved bodies. Sartre only nods, scribbling faster. If you can still decide how to greet the guard, whether to hide a scrap of bread for the man next to you, whether to despair or to dream, you are free, and terrifyingly so. When Sartre is released in 1941, the notebook travels with him to Paris, a city under occupation, its cafes dimmed, its streets patrolled by rifles and suspicion. He steps inside the Café de Flore, orders a bitter espresso, and spreads those pages beside an empty pack of Gauloises. Around him, artists whisper, resistors plot, lovers cling to each other as though each kiss might be the last permitted by history. Freedom here is a double-edged blade. The Nazis claim to have smothered it, but every clandestine leaflet, every coded radio transmission, every stolen rendezvous proves that choice survives. Only now, each choice is enormous, life-changing, lethal. It is in this crucible that Sartre coins his most unsettling phrase, "We are condemned to be free." Condemned, the word hangs in the smoky air like a sentence pronounced by an unseen judge. Freedom is not a prize, he insists, but a sentence. We wake each morning already guilty of authorship, forced to compose the script of our lives without a director, a divine stage manager, or even a reliable program. No excuses, no alibis. If you collaborate, you choose it. If you resist, you choose it. Even to do nothing is a choice, and the consequences, personal or political, cling to you forever. After the war, the notebook is tucked into a drawer, while Sartre expands its cramped sentences into being and nothingness, a metaphysical epic that turns coffeehouse gossip into intellectual dynamite. Students crowd lecture halls, yearning to hear that they are not puppets dangling from threads of destiny, but authors writing in wet cement. And yet, as the lecture ends and they spill into the street, a heavier question settles over their shoulders. What if authorship is too heavy to bear? Fast forward to May 1968. Paris again, but now it is barricades, spray paint, and the thunder of cobblestones clattering against riot shields. The slogans, "Sous les pavés la plage," "Il est interdit d'interdire," echo Sartre's insistence on radical freedom. The protesters are not quoting scriptures or kings. They are quoting themselves, asserting that society can be remade because nothing, finally, is fixed. Sartre walks among them, tiny in stature, monumental in legend, inhaling tear gas as though it were the aroma of a long-awaited banquet. He reminds the students that with every autonomy seized, a burden follows, the plan for what to build in place of toppled statues. Are you prepared, he asks, not merely to say no, but to decide, responsibly, what yes must look like? The question survives the decades. It trails us into boardrooms, dating apps, voting booths, and late-night refrigerator raids. From the macro, should a nation intervene in another's civil war? To the micro, should I text that apology at 2 a.m.? Sartre's verdict resounds, you and only you must choose. The moral authority you seek is the same voice inside you that hopes to be silenced. Consider a modern artifact, the glowing rectangle in your pocket. It whispers infinite possibilities, jobs to pursue, avatars to craft, playlists to curate. Swipe right, swipe left, scroll forever. Each gesture looks trivial, yet multiplies into paths not taken, relationships never begun, selves unlived. The freedom once represented by an open field now flickers within a 5-inch screen, and it demands the same accountability. Who are you curating, if not yourself? You might protest. My parents, my culture, my algorithms push me. Sartre anticipated that plea and shakes his head. Influence is not destiny. Even a nudge requires your consent. The instant you recognize the push, you either lean with it or dig in your heels. Both are decisions. Responsibility, like gravity, never blinks. But here is the hidden mercy. Because you author your life, you can edit it. The past cannot be rewritten, yet its meaning can. The prisoner who once stole bread can now devote himself to feeding others. The collaborator can spend a lifetime exposing tyranny. Choice impregnates every moment with the possibility of redemption. The burden and the gift are one. So let us return to the notebook, shielded behind museum glass. Look closer. Tiny specks of mud cling to the cover, soil from a camp that tried to erase the man inside it. They failed. Every visitor who presses forehead to glass is reminded that even in chains, a mind can declare, "I choose." And that declaration, once made, reverberates outward through novels, revolutions, and the quiet heroism of daily life. Pause now and ask yourself, in the last 24 hours, which decision truly felt like yours, wholly owned, unshared with fear or habit? And if none comes to mind, what might your next opportunity be? Because if Sartre is right and history leans in to confirm it, we cannot flee freedom. We shoulder it like Atlas, straining, cursing, yet holding up a world built from our own resolves. To deny this is to let someone else write your pages. To accept it is terrifying and exquisitely human. If this exploration resonates with you, if the weight of freedom feels a little lighter when shared, subscribe, pass the thought along, and join our ongoing conversation. And for now, as always, keep thinking.